setting it up. And it says it's setting it up, but here it says we're live on Facebook. So here we are. Hi, everybody. If you're joining us now or you're joining us later, thank you so much for being here with us. I'm Shannon Jones with the Shannon Jones Team at Keller Williams Realty. And we are joined today by Megan Edner of Revival Staging and Design. So thank you so much, Megan, for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm great. Happy to be here.
Good. Wonderful. So we have had the pleasure of working with Megan on several projects and have been able to see her work firsthand, and our sellers have been able to benefit by having success based on the staging projects. And I'm going to show a few of those projects here in just a minute. I've got them queued up and we'll be sharing my screen. But first, tell me a little bit, Megan, about your background. What got you into staging? How did you get started?
Sure. Originally, I started in 2004. I was a realtor. I became a realtor. I got my real estate license. And I did real estate for many years. And then during the recession, like 2008, 2009, I started to get into investing, flipping. And so I would flip houses. And that eventually led me to staging. I had an experience where I had a house that wasn't selling. Like in 2012, I think I had a nice single family house in the hills of Whittier, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, everything remodeled, and it was just sitting on the market. It just wasn't selling. And someone, either a friend, another agent, somebody told me, why don't you stage it? Why don't you have it staged? So I thought about that, and it seemed like a lot of money at the time, but it wasn't selling. So I decided to go for it. I had never staged a place before, and it wasn't as common back then, I think, as it is now. But once I staged it, the change in activity and just the reaction that I saw from buyers really had an effect on me. Like, it converted me. I was like sold on staging from that point on. And because I was doing my own properties and doing the design on my own flips, I started to stage my own flips. And once I started staging my own flips, then I started staging for other friends, other realtors that I knew, and it kind of grew into a business from there.
And so, so did you decide that you like staging more than real estate?
It's funny that you said that. I'm not really like much of a salesperson. So I like real estate. Like I like it, and I do a lot of investing. That's definitely something I do still. But I think I love the creative side of staging, and I love shopping. So you get to do a lot of shopping when you're a stager. So I have to say, I think I do like it more for me, for my personality.
Yeah. Well, but having that real estate background and the sales background and an investment background, and then also that artistic creative side, tell me how you view staging as an important part of the selling process.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say that even if I'm going to rent out a property, because I have several units, I will always stage. I think it's always worth the money to stage if you've got a vacant property, whether it's for rent or whether it's for sale. I think it helps you, no matter what, to maximize whether it's your sale price or your rent price, and also to shorten your days on the market. So you're not sitting there paying, on a loan or with a vacancy. I'm even if I wasn't a stager, I would still have my property staged.
Okay. But obviously, since you are, it makes it easier because you can usually fit yourself into your own schedule, right?
Yes. Yeah. So that's a little added benefit.
Yes. Very good. Okay. I'm going to share my screen here real quickly. And if I can click on this here. And I'm going to go into a video of one of the projects that Megan staged for us recently. This is a Spanish style home in Rose Park. And I really love the way this project turned out because to me, the inside looks like it really goes with the outside. And I'd love to have you, Megan, kind of share with us some of the highlights of what your goal was when you were doing this staging as we watch it together.
Sure.
So
Okay.
let me click on the correct screen. And here we go. Let's hit play. Are you able to see it?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. All right. So we can see we're sort of approaching it now. And I have the volume off, so.
Okay.
I love the kind of neutral colors that you've used there.
Yeah, lately that's kind of my rule of thumb. I try to do neutral but still interesting. Neutral but not boring. I think neutrals definitely with a few accents do well.
Yeah, exactly. But I think in this case, because you've got the Spanish tile still and you've got the hardwood floors, that using those really organic colors in some of the other rooms work real well. But then, like there, you've picked up the little bits of blue, and there are some little pops of color. So it's not just, totally boring. I also like the just little bits of, plant material and that type of thing that, you have here and there. And even in the backyard, you can see it's not massive furniture, but you can see that there's a spot there. That's kind of it on that one. The rest of it is kind of the exterior. I'm going to go ahead and let's click on the some of the photos here. One of the things, are you seeing the same thing I am? The living room of that house? Okay, good.
Yeah, I see the.
So I make sure that we're on the right here, literally. One of the things I like about this is that you have floated the seating area in the middle of the room, and I think that a lot of times homeowners, when they do their own arrangements, tend to think that seating has to go up against walls. Tell me a little bit about where seating should go.
Yeah, this house was actually a little bit of a challenge when it came to that living room, because it was that really long, big, beautiful living room that was centered with the fireplace. But it was a challenge because when you're thinking about putting your furniture, you like, one of the rules of thumb is that you don't put them in a walkway, which it sounds obvious, but I mean, there's a walkway where you come in the door, and then you need to be able to get to the dining room. So you can't put anything in front of there.
Yeah.
Then your fireplace kind of defines, for me, oftentimes your seating area. So I start there, and then I arrange around the fireplace in a way that's not going to disturb the front door, and that you can still make your way around and feel natural. And I think there we ended up, you don't see it really well in this picture, but we ended up doing a second seating area because it was so long.
You can see it kind of off to the left. I don't know if I've got that. No, I don't think I have that photo queued up, but there is, let's just go back here a little bit. You can see kind of back in that corner there, there's a whole nother seating area. And then just off to the left, there's like a little office area as well. This is the bedroom there. Obviously, again, this is a large room. I like what you've done with the rug there to give that some kind of definition.
Yeah, that was, I love big master bedrooms because it's nice to work with plenty of space, and there was enough room to put that rocker there and a piece of, a drawer, because I want to show people where they can actually put their drawers and what type of space they'll have when they're living there.
Exactly, that there is room to do that. This dining room, that table makes me think like of a surfboard for some reason. It really does, and I love that because, of course, this is not far from the beach, and so again, you've got the neutrals, and it's like, it's modern but not.
Yeah, that was my favorite room out of that house. I mean, I was really inspired by the architecture in that home, just the beautiful hardwood floors and the ceilings and all the moldings and those little like cutouts in the wall. But
So like you can see the little niche there on the left, and then the sconces, and the detail on the ceilings is really nice there.
yeah,
Um, and I think that again, the colors not being over the top allows the architecture to really shine.
right.
Um, so that works really, I think that works really well. Um, oh, there you go. That's another angle of that
Yeah,
same living room where you can see the additional seating area. So that's not just like lost space. Um, and then this I think is kind of nice because it sort of shows that you don't have to necessarily do a lot to stage.
right. Yeah, I mean, there we just the homeowner had their outdoor seating area already, and we just brought in a few plants and I think pillows. I think we brought in some pillows and yeah, made it feel
It just
inviting.
elevates it a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love that little area. It's just so cozy.
yeah, that was a cute spot.
Um, and then tell me about this little nook, because when I first saw this, I said, well, what are we going to do with this? And I love what you did here.
I know, I remember that little nook. I feel like there's a like some of these historical houses have these, and I don't know if they were really meant, maybe you know more information about that, if they were meant to be little office nooks or like little phone areas or what they were, but yeah, it was the perfect size for a desk and it was right off the living room, so I felt like we had to do something there.
Yeah,
And
it's
that
perfect.
the
It's
desk well.
yeah, this is the perfect if you're going to have to work at home.
Yeah,
I think both of these homes that we've shown on camera here had really ideal little work at home spots. Because seriously, if you're going to be stuck at home, having windows on all three sides and your own little space is it's just perfect. But I think you've given, you know, again, just enough of the decorative elements without going over the top there. Um, and this is, you can see how that little nook relates to the rest of the room there. Tell me a little bit about this, because this is an interesting configuration of the room. And the couple who bought this actually spent this was back when we could do open houses, and they with their friends spent a lot of time at the open house measuring to see how their furniture would fit.
that's interesting.
Yes, exactly. And because their, you know, couch was not exactly the same size as this. So tell me a little bit about how you decided to place the furniture here.
Yeah, I remember that this was also a little bit of a challenge, and there was several different ways that we could have done it,
Mm-hmm.
uh, because it had like a space off to the right of the couch, and then it also had that space going towards the kitchen. But again, for me, from like a centering point of view, I feel like the fireplace kind of dictates where where the best flow is, and I didn't want it to feel like it was too far off to the side. um,
Right.
so we kind of floated the couch off of a smaller rug and then did the chairs off to the side, so you still have a feeling that you have enough seating uh,
Mm-hmm.
without it being too cramped.
Yeah, and what's not on here is just to the right of this was the dining area then.
Yeah.
And I don't know if no, we don't have that. We're now in another house. We're now in a different craftsman house. And this is another one I love because you have added just enough to these the built-in cabinetry here that you can see that it's functional without making it feel overloaded. Um, so
Yeah.
anything you want to share on this space?
I mean, again, like I try to play off the architecture, the existing architecture to kind of complement it in a way. And I feel like also staging for, I'm trying to imagine the type of buyer that might buy. Um, so, you know, here we've got like an older, is this like a craftsman bungalow type?
Yeah, yeah.
We have one, yeah.
This is the living room in that same house.
This
Uh-huh.
this one was a bit easier because it had these defined spaces. So that's always like a treat
Yeah.
for me because it's really easy to place the furniture. But yeah, I just tried to let the architecture shine because there was all that detailing on the windows and all of those like moldings and craftsman details, and use some color but keep it neutral.
Yeah, yeah. This is one of my favorite rooms I think that I've seen that you've done. And I think that we're going to let's just I want to make sure that I'm not having Julia say anything here that I need to know about. Let's make sure. Oh, no, we are live. There you go. So, oops. Okay, so this is the outside area actually at the same house that we were just at. And so I think again, you just it doesn't take that much to make it really look like a space where you'd want to hang out, huh?
Yeah, I think I always think about like making suggestions for the buyers, like showing them what you can do. Maybe that, you know, maybe they're not going to do the exact same thing, but showing them that, yeah, a full table fits out here. You can, you know, you can see yourself eating out here, and you have a little seating area and enjoy the garden and sit out here.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing now. But I think that kind of gives us an idea of some of the projects and the type of thing that Megan is doing when she's staging. And in my mind, as a real estate agent, when sellers are asking me, should we stage? Um, the answer is going to be yes. The 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 caveat is, are they going to stage it themselves? Are they going to hire a stager? Because regardless of what they do, um, the way that most people live on a day-to-day basis is not the same way that a home will look when it's on the market. And people, when they're purchasing a home, are not just purchasing a home, they're purchasing their vision of what their life will look like when they buy the home. And so sometimes people assume that that means, for example, that all of the counters need to be clear. Well, people would rather come home and envision themselves fixing a fabulous meal in the kitchen than, you know, picking up takeout on the way home. And so if you make the kitchen look like a place where you'd want to prepare it, that's feeding that vision. And so in my mind, absolutely the staging makes sense. Um, but there's a lot of stagers out there. And how do people go? How should somebody go about finding a stager? What should they look for if they're planning to hire a stager, Megan?
I think it's really important to consult with their realtor and get recommendations from their realtor in terms of what kind of staging or what kind of stager their realtor would recommend, because I think, you know, you as realtors have experience in your market. You know who are the buyers, what's the demographic, who's likely to be shopping for this home. And so I think you can make the recommendations about, you know, what's the most appropriate kind of staging to do, because yeah, there's so many different levels of staging. I mean, there's really simple staging that will be on the cheaper end, with, you know, a different style, cheaper furniture, less detail, and then, you know, you go all the way up to like an interior design based type of staging, which is kind of what we do, where you're using more high-end furniture and doing like a high level of detail.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I think also it's really important to look at the stagers like portfolio and current project photos to see, because that's the best way to get an idea of what kind of work does this stager do. What do the homes that this stager does look like when they're staged?
So that you're going to be comfortable with the finished product.
Yeah, so you're comfortable and you know more or less what your home's going to look like.
And so what if somebody wants to, let's say, stage their own home? Let's say they are still living there and they, don't necessarily have the budget to, move out and have the place vacant and staged. And so they're going to be living there, but they want to give more of an appearance of, having a staged home.
Yeah.
What would you say are kind of the most important things that they should consider doing?
I think the main thing that people will want to start with is the decluttering process. It's almost like a partial move out. Like you're going to box up most of your personal items, most of your, family pictures and books and knickknacks and just all the things that we accumulate in our, in our homes that we have. I mean, not everything, but really pare it down and leave just as minimal as possible to be still comfortable while you're living there, obviously. But I would say that's the first thing, is to declutter and take out the personal things. And then I think if you can, if you have different bedrooms, if you can use just like neutral bed coverings and a few neutral pieces of art on the wall and maybe, a few pillows on the bed, and just make it look as simple and clean as possible, I think that goes a long way.
So that it's not too overwhelming or chaotic.
Yeah, so it's not overwhelming and it's not overly personal. I think like simplicity and decluttering goes just a long way.
And so obviously then if somebody's home is really cluttered or very personalized, I will never forget this. I remember a home, I had not been in real estate very long, and this was when everybody went on broker's tour, and I remember going on broker's tour and looking at this home, and I don't know whether the seller was a hunter or a taxidermist or what, but there were stuffed animals throughout the house.
Oh no.
There was like a zebra head and like a bear head and like a full-size stuffed, I don't know, like everywhere you looked, there were stuffed dead things. And honestly, I can't tell you what the rest of the house looked like because, decades later, what I remember is all these stuffed dead animals. And so something like that's so personal and so unusual, it's kind of hard for people to get past. On a smaller scale, what are some of the mistakes that you see sellers making?
I mean, I think doing like, what have I seen that I think like, oh no, don't do that. Like odd placement of furniture. I think sometimes like I've seen in a bedroom where someone will just put like a vase with like a bunch of fake flowers in a bedroom in the corner on a table, and then that's it. And to me, I think it's either you have a bed or a desk or something in there, or you have it empty, but not
that's all there
that's
is.
all they had in there, like almost like an attempt at staging, or like two dining chairs and a little table with a vase, but it's a big bedroom. That I think that like
something there is going to be better than having nothing.
No, like having nothing, like having the room completely clean would be better than having something strange that doesn't fit in a room.
Right, but that's their thinking, is when they're putting it there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I should just put something there.
Yeah, she put something. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not better than nothing.
Right. Or
Nothing.
like, oversized furniture in a room that's, too small for that furniture. So it makes the room feel really small, or vice versa, like really small furniture inside a really large room can be a detractor too.
Mhm. Now, obviously, looking at your photos, you use a lot of neutrals. How do you feel about people maybe who have used bold colors in their home? Are those things that you think they should tone down prior to putting the home on the market? And do you have any favorite colors that you recommend for people
Yeah.
in terms of
I mean,
neutral?
I think, of course, it depends on your budget and how far you want to go, but investing a little bit, like in paint or carpet or flooring, can go a long way. And
Mhm.
I do think that using a neutral tone, even though, like, I personally love color in my home, I have some walls that have color. Um, but when you're selling a home, you're just trying to appeal to the widest audience as possible. And so I think using lighter tones and neutrals when it comes to flooring and paint are important.
Okay.
And if people can, if they have that in the budget and they can, I would definitely consider doing that.
So do you have any go-to colors? Like if let's say you're it's one of your investments and you're
Oh, yeah.
and you're looking at, okay, I'm going to add the paint color as the perfect backdrop for staging. What are some of the colors that you would recommend?
I really like the white family, and not bright white, so not like pure white, bare, off the shelf white, because I think that can come out like overly intense.
I feel
But the white, soft whites,
like,
that,
sorry,
let's see,
break
um,
COVID.
soft whites, in the white family. There's all sorts, I don't mean to be cliche with the Swiss coffee, but colors that are around that tone and in the white family are on trend right now. I mean, it also kind of depends on the trend, because before we were seeing a lot of grays, and before that it was browns. So I think right now whites are on trend, and so I think those, and they're neutral, and they kind of, they're the perfect canvas for putting your artwork.
If you want to add some color, you can always do it with a rug or some pillows or something
Right,
like that anyways.
right,
And then if you get tired of the color, it's so much easier to change it
yeah, yeah.
when
Replace
you're
the
just
rug.
changing bedding or pillows or something like that.
Right.
Um, so what is the cost if somebody wants to stage their home?
Yeah, I think for me, my prices start right around $4,000, and that would be for a master bedroom, living room, dining room combo, and we go all the way up past $10,000 if we're doing like a big house with a lot of spaces.
Mm-hmm.
And there are stagers who do lower than that, who start on the lower end, but I think that's a different kind of product. That's a different kind of staging. It'd be more simple, less high-end furniture. So I mean, staging in general, you can probably find something all the way down to maybe 2,500 or 3,000 and up.
Okay. And you could find somebody who's more.
And you could find, yeah. And yeah, there's definitely people who are more. I mean, it probably goes up into the 20,000 range, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, and tell me this, do people usually recoup the cost of staging when they're selling?
Yeah,
How
you
can they
definitely.
quantify that, or how will they know if they'll do that? And then I'll weigh in on
Yeah.
that as
I mean, just me personally saying that I would never put one of my own flips on the market or even a rental without staging it, because I know for me personally, there's a benefit in it. You're always going to recoup and get more on top of that back when you stage, because you've got the increased emotional appeal. You've got, you know, connect, people come into the home, they get more excited about it, you get more traffic online, your photos look better, people are able to imagine themselves in the home. And I think even if somebody feels, later, if the inspection report comes back and there's a few things that came out, people are already emotionally connected to the home and they already have been able to envision themselves there. So they're more committed to the deal. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you all get it back.
I will say for us as a real estate team that our experience has definitely been that our homes that are staged do tend to sell more quickly. We are more likely to get multiple offers. And when we're selling within that initial period of the first 2 or 3 weeks and we have multiple offers, that puts the seller in a stronger position as far as negotiating. And so we're able to leverage the offers to get the clients the maximum amount of money that the market will bear. And so while I can't tell you that spending $4,000 will earn you exactly $17,700 or whatever, I can tell you that a couple things will happen. One is the home is likely to sell faster. We're likely to get list price or above, and we're likely to be able to maximize. And in some cases, we've even had where we've gone beyond what the appraisal would come in at because we created such a large amount of emotional appeal in multiple buyers that they bid against each other beyond what the data would show the home was worth. And so I know that maximized what our clients ended up with. So the other thing I think to consider, especially if you've got someone who's selling a vacant home, is what is the cost of not selling it? So if you've got a carrying cost that's several $1,000s and you have it sitting there for a while, obviously that costs money. And staging helps to prevent that from happening, because even in a hot seller's market, not all homes sell, and the ones that require more imagination sell slower. um, they definitely do. Everyone likes to feel like they have vision, but not everyone does. Yeah. So, well, I've asked you a lot of questions. I've taken a lot of your time. I really appreciate it. Any last staging tips or tricks that people should keep in mind?
Let's see. I think for me, one of my, I'll just share like a rule of thumb for hanging artwork.
Oh, great.
And that is to hang your artwork at eye level so that the middle of the frame would be approximately at your eye level. So, I'm 5'6". Generally, maybe the average person, man or woman, I do it maybe just a little bit above my eye level so that it can be on an average for a female or a male. But that's because a lot of times you'll see artwork hung way too high, and you might not know that. I didn't know, before I started doing this either, but that's something that I've learned. And it really helps to balance out the artwork. If you're wondering, where do I hang this? Where on the wall do I hang this? That's a tip that I can share. And also mixing textures.
Oh, great one.
Yeah, I really like layering textures. So like natural materials, woods with, woven pillows, and creating like a layered look of.
It gives more depth.
Yeah, more depth and
More
interest. Yeah.
Yeah, and makes it look less like I don't know, a generic Macy's showroom or something,
Right. You don't want it to feel that. One thing that I do, just me personally with my staging, like I have some personal philosophies about it, but I like the house to feel I don't want it to feel sterile. I want people to come in and think maybe possibly someone lives there, so that they don't feel like, oh, this looks like every other staged home out there, or this you know, that they can pick it out right away, you know, because buyers are used to seeing, they're looking at everything online now. So they're seeing a lot of pictures. So I like to give it that little bit of a, you know, like a unique flair to where people think, oh, maybe someone does live here, and it feels.
Till they open the closets.
Yeah. So I just throw a bunch of clothes and the shoes in the bottom of the closet.
Of course, now with COVID, people aren't supposed to be opening the closets.
Right.
So,
Right.
there you go. But
Yeah.
okay. Well, those are some great tips. And if people want to find you online, where should they look, Megan?
You can find me on Instagram. I am at Revival Stage and Design. That's my Instagram, and yeah, you can find me there.
I love following you there.
Yeah,
And
I know, I love following you guys too.
wonderful. Well, thank you again, and stay safe and healthy. And we'll hope to work with you very soon.
Yes, thank you, Shannon.
Thanks, Megan. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.